Welcome back, guys. So what happens in interview, people will ask you, like in case of hash set, how you will get a deep copy for the reference variable for the object type data. How do you get a deep copy? People will ask you in the interview, because we have seen that how we get a shallow copy. Okay, but how we will get a deep copy? The same example, okay, I have modified a little bit. So if you look at the same class, whatever I have now, my class earlier, in the previous example, okay, my class was not implementing, it was not implementing clonable interface. So now what I have to do, in my custom class I have to implement now clonable interface. My class should be of type clonable, right? And then I need to implement the clone method. Okay, I need to implement the clone method. If you want, you can do that. Even though you will not implement the clone method, still it will work fine. How it will work fine, I will tell you. So just your class should implement the clonable, then only you can perform the clone operations. Okay, now the same example, there is nothing change here. Same two fields, constructor, getter and setter, and then I'm overriding the toString method. Nothing change here. What is changing here is, if you look at here also, I'm creating the object of hashset class, which will store the custom data type, right? Which will store the object, and then I'm adding that. I'm adding one record to the hashset, which is of type, actually of type custom object. Okay, and then if you look at now, I did not do original dot clone. What I did, I created another object. For the clone, I have created a separate hash set. I have created a separate hash set. Okay, this is a fresh object I have created. In previous example, if you look at what I did, I was doing that original dot clone, and then I'm typecasting to the class for which I want the data. Okay, I was typecasting to my child class. Okay, you know that object class is the super class of all the classes. So I was typecasting back. I wanted to have a hash set of data custom object, so I have typecasted it here. If you look at, I have made original object, no typecasting here. Then what you have to do is, you have to run a iterator. So that's how you can do deep copy. Okay, you have to run the iterator on this original object, and you know that when you perform the iterator on the original object, it will give you the list of iterator. So when you just hover and click on create local variable, it will give you the list of the operator of the same object type. Okay, so what data you have stored, custom with reference type. Here also your data type will be same, custom with reference type, and iterator has a method called hasNext. So hasNext will check whether you have a data in the hash set or not. If yes, then look at here, you are doing that itr.next. Okay, you are doing that itr.next. Okay, this will give you the current object. It will return the current object data, and it will move the pointer to the next. So when you will get a current object data, this itr, basically what happens here is, let me do one thing. Let me not typecast here. Okay, when you don't typecast, you will get an error here, because when you are iterating it, you are cloning every data, you are cloning it. Okay, you are cloning, which means you are creating a copy of every record, right? You are actually cloning every record. And why you are able to clone? Okay, sorry, control Z. Why you are able to clone? Because now your custom class implements the clonable. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me remove this one also. So can I write like this, itr.next.clone? Okay, let's see that what happens basically behind the scene. And then do not do anything for now. Okay, just write like this. Can I write like this? This is allowed. Yes, this is allowed. There is no compile time. My class is also not implementing clonable, right? But what happens if I will run that? See, the problem is, you are getting the exceptions. Clone not supported exceptions. Clone not supported exceptions. What does mean by that? So basically, when you perform the clone on the object, and if the object is not type of clonable, when you perform the clone on the object, and if object is not the type of clonable, you will get these exceptions. Clone not supported exceptions. Okay, what you will get? Clone not supported exceptions. So these exceptions you will get, right? Because my class is not a type of clonable. Whenever I perform clone, basically, so here what you are trying to do, you are running a loop on the iterator on the hash set. So when you run the iterator on the hash set, what will happen? One by one it will pick up the record. What is the record? Record is the custom object, right? This record is the custom object. Now this custom object is not of type clonable. If it is not of type clonable, though you are able to call a clone method, because by default for every object you have a clone method, right? So you are able to call that, but the problem is you will get these exceptions, right? You will get these exceptions. The reason is, if you press command and click on clone, see, it comes from the object class, right? And what exceptions it will throw? Clone not supported exceptions, right? Same thing, you are getting that clone not supported exceptions. So it is throwing the exceptions now. That is the reason, if you look at, I was implementing my class. Okay, let me just write again. I need to implement with clonable, control spacebar, click on clonable. So now my class is of type clonable. Now I can perform clone operations. Okay, I can perform. Though I am not overriding the clone method, by default, whatever default implementations you have, it will come automatically. But my class should be always of type clonable. Now there will not be any issue. So what I'm trying to say that is, let me comment this. Okay, for now we should not see any issue. See, there is no issue, at least programming executing. What is the output, that we will see later. So there is no issue, that exceptions gone now. Now come back and change that. So what happens when we did a clone here on this object, an object which is nothing but custom object, when we did a clone, we got a return type as an object. So we need to cast to the custom class, because I don't want return type to be the object. I want return type to be my custom class. So I need to cast back. I did a cast back. Okay, and look at that. When I did a cast back, what is the return type of this? Now my custom class. So whatever fresh hash set I have created here, the fresh hash set cloned, I'm adding this. Okay, so what will happen now? My cloned, this will get a separate copy. Now this will get a separate copy. Why I'm saying that my cloned, now it will get a separate copy? Because you are adding the record one by one, and what record you are adding? That basically from the original object you are cloning the data one by one and you are adding it. So you are picking the original one, you are making a copy, you are adding it. You are not touching the original one. You are making the copy and then adding to the cloned one. So if you look at now, yes, the data will be the same, but again the reference this will be false, because both are different reference. This is the original, this is the cloned in the stack, but the hash code, this time hash code will not be the same. See, in the last video, if you look at, when we did not clone like this, okay, when we did not clone like this, the hash code was common. Now the hash code will be different. So when the hash code is different, which means it is a different object, the moment you will get hash code is the different, all story will go off. Okay, look at the output now. See, focus here, we cloned, yes, we got the data. Reference is different, yes, false. Look at the hash code now. Now hash code is not anymore same hash code. When the hash code is not same, means in the memory your both the object is different. When both the object is different, now if you do any data manipulation, so I'm running a for each loop on the cloned, I'm running a for each loop on the cloned object, I'm doing data manipulations for the ij, 20 and 30. So if you look at here, see, when you ran, your clone got modified 20 to 30, but your original has no change. But earlier what was happening? In the previous video, original was also getting changed. Okay, now what you did, you went ahead and you run a for each loop on your original object and you modified the data. Again, you are just printing both the objects. So if you do that, you can see that your original got modified, but clone did not get modified. Your clone has the same data, what you had earlier, right? So did not get modified, and this, by this implementations we can achieve the deep copy of hash set. Okay, so people will ask you in the interview, you have to tell answer like this, like your class, custom class should implement the clonable, and when you when you want to a deep copy of an object, you have to create the fresh object of the hash set. You need to run a iterator, and when you are adding the data from the original object, take the data one by one, clone it, and then add it. There is no other way to make a deep copy. Okay, so this we call it as a deep copy. In the previous example, whatever you have seen, that it's a shallow copy, and hash set, when you just perform clone, okay, it will give you always the shallow copy. Okay, so when you have a requirement for the deep copy where your cloned object should not modify the original one, go for these implementations. Right now, whatever you are learning here, the same thing will work in the array list, linked list, and this set, all set classes. Okay, whether it is a hash set or linked hash set, it will work fine, there will not be any issue. Okay, where the problem will come, in case of tree set, because in case of tree set, when you are adding the custom object, your custom object should be of type, you know that it should be of type either comparable or comparator, which we'll see that later. And I think I have given you some idea of when I was talking earlier. So guys, one small suggestion is, when you're watching my video, please take a printout of my notes. For every video I have shared the link, in the git you have the PDF you can download. Please take a printout, make a notes whenever I speak. Okay, and please go through this and type these programs in the Eclipse, then only you will get a confidence. Just by my watching video, you will never get a confidence. You need to type your own, then only you will get a confidence. With this I'll close the video. In next video we will see that some more example. Thank you guys, thank you for watching this.